So we know it's important to be sustainable, but let's get real about what that means and the different ways it can affect our health. Today we talk about an innovative new recycling program in Hilliard and also welcome our guest, sustainability expert Jennie McAdams, who talks about everything from what's in our recycling bins to composting to the importance of tree canopy in our communities. And we even discuss our memories of Captain Planet. Remember that show? I love it. All of that and more coming up on Health is Real. Welcome in, stay a while. Alongside Zach Watson and Angela Taw, I'm Andrew Stinson here. This is Health is Real, podcast from Franklin County Public Health, coming to you from Memorial Hall in downtown Columbus. Angela, how's it going today?
Pretty good, thanks for asking.
Wonderful, great to be here with you. Zach at the end of the table, how's it going over there?
Doing really, really well. Just happy to be here with my friends. So, just loving it.
Awesome. Now, I know there's a new program in Hilliard about recycling.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So came across an article calling out Hilliard, Ohio, which is a great place to be.
Yeah.
And a really cool thing that they're doing in partnership with Rumpke and Hefty is they're actually providing these orange bags that you would just, not your black bag, not your white trash bag, but an orange bag. And you put things in it like styrofoam and different, like packing peanuts, different things like that are hard to recycle that, people often kind of get confused about where to put it. Do you throw it in the trash? Do you throw it in the recycle? Does it just get thrown out somewhere else into the landfill? Who knows?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's very cool. I thought that was really a sweet program that they're doing. It looks like they're trying to use that stuff to make other things like park benches and things like that, which is very sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to recycle. Love that they're making it into park benches. Park benches are awesome. I mean, if you're at a park and you need to sit down, where are you going to sit? On a bench.
A styrofoam bench. Just kidding. It's not actually styrofoam at that point, but.
Love it. Zach, do you have any thoughts on this recycling program in Hilliard?
I mean, I think it seems like we all have a sort of shared enthusiasm about this. It's really cool to see something like this innovative idea out in the community, and especially out in Hilliard, where there are quite a few parks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot
Absolutely,
of green spaces out in Hilliard, and I think that's going to have a huge effect, and it's a huge positive thing for the community to, again, see something really, really innovative around the idea of, going further than just recycling.
And our guest today, Jennie McAdams, Environmental Health Supervisor in Sustainability. Lovely to have you here, Jennie. How's it going?
It's going great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me in this lovely office.
It is a lovely office. And we wanted to have you on and talk a little bit about sustainability, what it is and why it's so important.
Great. Thanks. Excited to talk about it.
So now this is one of the newer divisions that we have here at Franklin County Public Health, sustainability. Tell us a little bit about why it's so important that we have this division.
So it's pretty important, mostly because sustainability is important, but really we started it in 2019 because there is such a need and such a gap in terms of sustainability and climate change as it relates to health, public health, and environmental health, which isn't necessarily captured in all of our regulatory programs. Gotcha.
So some examples of sustainability just for the folks out there. What kind of stuff does sustainability cover?
So our section covers quite a lot. In my section, not just in sustainability, we do have healthy homes, lead inspections, solid waste inspections, lead-based paint inspections, all those good things that really help everybody keep safe in their homes and their houses. But in sustainability, we work a lot with air quality and tree canopy and access to green spaces, composting food, kind of the gamut of what you may think of as sustainability as it relates to public health.
Gotta love it. I mean, air quality is great. We breathe air every day. And
we do.
I always love getting those alerts from MORPC. That's always super helpful to know, when the air is not as great and I still go outside anyway, but I at least know why I'm maybe a little having a harder time breathing.
Yes, those alerts are hugely important. They check them every day, and we're really starting to increase that breadth of sensors out there. Not necessarily the ones that Morpsey will send the air quality alerts from, but like we have those sensors out there now that really do give you some hyperlocal data.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring all that up. And for the fans at home, two things that I don't know if a lot of people would know about would be lead-based paint and the tree canopy. Can you explain both of those just to clarify? Lead-based paint, a lot of people might not know about in terms of the threats and why it's important.
Sure, and Mike Adair is really one of our experts here about lead-based paint, but it's essentially before 1978, lead-based paint was legal to use in houses. And so it was looked on as something nicer. So a lot of houses had it. And it does cause a lot of issues. There's a lot of lead-based issues that kiddos can get, especially before they're 6 years old. It kind of sense growth really hurts their brain development, especially when you see those chipping and flaking paints. If it's kept well, there's not an issue until it starts chipping. But that could be another person who comes on and talks.
That's interesting. I didn't know back in the day that the lead-based paint was actually a desirable thing to have.
Yes.
For a home. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was marketed as such. So there's, if you look in some of like the ad campaigns earlier on in the last century, there was a lot of like paint your houses with lead, similar to how I think we used to see like those tobacco ads that were the slim tobaccos for moms are great.
Yeah, for sure.
But aren't good anymore.
I remember when we got our house a couple of years ago, we got a 1965 home. And I was very nervous about it. So we actually just repainted everything, all the walls, and was just like, well, hopefully that's good. And it was clear that the person who had lived in the house before us had also done that. So we were like, well, let's just slap another layer on just to be sure.
Yeah, and that's definitely a way to do it. As long as it's like kept up and it's painted over, it's usually typically fine. It's when it starts to deteriorate or things aren't kept up.
Yeah.
Or if it comes off on your siding and kind of gets into the ground and the dirt.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But we do have a program here, and if you request it, our staff can come and do a lead-based paint inspection.
Yeah,
which is really exciting.
Yeah, and Jenny, you said something that I'm not sure that the fans at home might know, but what is tree canopy?
Tree canopy is the amount of trees around an area to really increase that shaded area. So when we think tree canopy, a lot of times we're thinking of those larger trees, not necessarily bushes on the ground. And trees provide a lot of helpful benefits, including better air quality and shade, especially as we're looking at like these hot summer days. Like it can be, I think, at least 12 to 20 degrees difference in the shade, depending on the day. So it really does impact.
No, that's very real. We often try and go on walks, my husband and I, like after dinner. And like there's one street that we walk down on our little route that we go on that has no tree canopy coverage at all. And then when we turn the corner to the, the side of the street that does, it is immediately cooler. It's so crazy.
And it's such a long-term investment. It's hard to kind of put that into words where, you can be excited to plant tree canopy. And we're really starting to get some of those programs to get people to plant and increase it. But then it is a commitment. It's a multi-year commitment to plant it, water it, make sure it's being taken care of, and then really make sure it's a native tree. Because we're seeing a lot, you see all the time on the news, like those pear trees, gotta go, box trees, like all that. So we want native pollinators to really do it. And that way, too, it helps you not use too many resources.
So what's your favorite native tree that someone could plant?
Oh, there's so many.
Your favorite, though?
My favorite. I like oaks a lot. I think that they're really nice. But then in terms of like some of the fruit trees, like the apple trees, we actually have one that we got from Franklin County Soil and Water. Just a little plug for them that they do a tree and native plant sale in the spring. And Green Columbus gives away free trees. And they are really good to have. I don't have a green thumb, but they're growing and they still grow. But it will take a long time for them to have their canopy.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just nice to have trees around. I feel just nice for the good mental health, probably, just to have that coverage around as opposed to just nothing.
Yep. There's definitely been some studies on how trees and green space can impact your mental health. It creates safer neighborhoods because it does like help your sort of nervous system calm down and all those good things. So, I mean, tree canopy is huge. And it's a huge equity issue. I mean, we know like when we walk around, like some places have a lot of trees, some don't, and it's a lot of times an equity.
I did hear the other day, I'm trying to remember where it was from. It might have been in conversation with somebody, but somewhere out in the world, I had heard that there was a study done about how listening to bird noises for like 15 minutes and like a 15-minute segment actually like lowers your heart rate.
Really?
Yeah. So someone honestly might have been on TikTok. Don't judge me. But, they listen to bird noises for 15 minutes in the morning before they get out of bed. So it's like if you're increasing the tree canopy coverage, you're also inviting those birds more into those spaces and getting that benefit too.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And they help control the bug population. And just birds are really great to have in general. They help transplant seeds to create more trees. We just really want to make sure our area is healthy for our natural inhabitants.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Plus, you're wearing a lovely shirt that features many colorful birds.
I do. It's a lot of orioles and finches, which are also native birds to Columbus, which is great. Not to do another plug, but Merlin, you can always learn more about birds through that Merlin app and see what birds are around you. But yeah, it's definitely been a really big thing. And there are also quite a lot of studies and quite a lot of products that we can buy that we, I think, actually have here that keep birds from running into the windows. So it's like bird-proof glass, or you can put on those decals just to keep them from...
Bird-proof glass?
Not bird-proof glass, sorry. Bird-aware glass, I think is what it is. So it's like a coating so that they don't fly into it.
Interesting. Well, that's
I think a lot of the new buildings downtown have them now, too.
I'm not going to lie. I really wish it was called bird-proof glass. Because
I was like,
love
that's
the
not
idea
right.
that there's bulletproof glass, and then there's bird-proof glass. And I'm like, wait.
Birds aren't going to get in here.
Wait, hold on.
They just look at it and they're like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's been, there's a lot of really cool things going on. And there's a lot of local communities really getting engaged in some of these issues, especially like cleanups. I know all the time we see Keep Columbus Beautiful is doing cleanups all over the place and keeping our waterways clean. And there's just like a ton to do. And it's a really cool time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember there was a local community group and they brought canoes and kayaks in, and so we like literally went out in the water and like pulled trash out of it. It was so fun.
We did that last year, not Franklin County Public Health, but we did it with the Metro Parks in Columbus. Went out and did a day with it, and it's just the things that you find in Scioto are amazing. Tires, a full payphone my friend pulled out.
Oh my gosh.
A full payphone?
A full payphone. Yeah, we called the number on it and it was disconnected. And I was kind of hoping it would be like a number where they just gave you the lottery numbers for like whoever found it. But
that would have been nice.
But yeah, lots of tires, lots of tarps. So everything you throw in there gets in there and stays.
That's true.
Which is not great.
Now, we also wanted to talk a little bit about composting.
Yes.
And maybe some items that people didn't know that they could compost.
Oh, you can compost so much. In terms of composting, like there's two kinds that we talk about a lot. Like we have backyard composting. So it just like, that's what I think of with my grandma. She would have like the little wooden slat area in the backyard where she'd put her food scraps and kind of till it. And then we have some places are doing curbside composting pickup through a company. And then there's also some larger composting bins in some of our jurisdictions as well, sponsored by various entities. Either it's Keep Columbus Beautiful or Swaco, all those. In terms of your backyard compost, that's one that I would typically keep it a little tighter just because it is usually open. You know, you don't want to get your rats in there or neighborhood cats, anything like that. So those kinds of composting would just be mainly food scraps, coffee grounds, egg shells, the basics. And then you would put like some of your leaves on top of it and till it to make it so it's like more yard waste worthy and get more of those nutrients out there. But in terms of your curbside composting, depending on the company, but most people here in Columbus use the same company, it's a lot. Like it's meat, bones, anything compostable. I think you can do paper towels in there. Pretty much most things, just not animal waste, like so not dog waste that you've picked up, and nothing plastic. But yeah, it's a pretty helpful system.
Gotcha.
Neat. I'm surprised by that.
And that's
really nice.
And I think that's because it does go to like a composting facility that has like more ability to compost versus like your backyard where you just want to make sure it's nutrient heavy, especially if you're going to use it to put on your garden. But yeah, you can compost a lot. It's exciting.
Yeah. Also, recycling. We were going a little bit on our own here to talk about what's in our recycling bins. Zach, do you want to share what's been in your recycling bin of late?
A lot of seltzer cans. I'm a flavored water guy. I really enjoy it. A lot of cardboard boxes, too. We've been getting a lot of stuff shipped to us just to make some additions to the home and everything else like that. So cardboard cans and seltzer, you know, again, I'll drink a can or two a day. I have no regrets, and I recycle them. I
And
recycle the cans.
that's what's important.
Do
Absolutely.
you rinse them out before you recycle them?
Sometimes,
Oh,
I don't know that you need to rinse out the seltzers.
right?
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's what okay.
Pasta,
like,
yeah.
I like jars and everything.
Yeah.
I always rinse off.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that you asked me that.
So sorry.
Did you hire her? Is she security or something? Like, is she
She's
environmental
actually going
security?
through. Yeah, she goes through everybody's recycling, and I
do.
like it a lot.
Yeah.
If Jenny says you don't need to rinse them out, then you don't need
The,
to
She's-
rinse
the
them
the
out.
seltzer,
expert.
the seltzers.
The seltzer.
The seltzers,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
You
yeah.
get a Diet
I
Coke
wanna-
can, rinse it out.
Right, and I don't drink sodas, but like like cans and any sort of jars with sauces and stuff like that, I always rinse out. I know you're supposed to do that. I am a responsible citizen. Everyone, thank you.
And there's definitely multiple recycling companies locally too. So you always want to check what your local, whoever your hauler is, recycles. But I know the city of Columbus, they're doing a lot more now. Like if you look at it, what they can take in recycling, it's a lot. I'm pretty sure it's even like coffee cups with their lids, which is exciting.
That is nice. Yeah, because they have that plastic film on the inside that a lot of places won't accept
Yeah.
it because of.
Yeah. And I had a friend say, like, if you can tear the paper, you can recycle it. So like all your flyers, all your coupons, everything I'm looking at in this office from 2001.
Don't call us out like
We
that.
don't need everyone to know about what's in this office.
That's got to get cut. How dare you? And then you also mentioned air quality.
Yes.
What do we do with air quality here at Franklin County Public Health?
We do a lot with air quality, and a lot of it's in partnership with our friends over at MORPC, the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. We have a grant through the United States EPA where we're working to install some purple air sensors throughout the county. So right now I think we have 20. We're getting ready to install another 40 more. And these purple air sensors are pretty easy. They're super handy, and they can really look at hyper-local air quality. So if hypothetically you had one at your house, it could tell you the particulate matter that is right around your house. So if you are on a delivery route that delivers things all day, every day, and you have a lot of diesel fuel, like that could see that you have a spiked high. Or if you are right on a school bus route that has, and you can see it spike like at 7 and at 3. So it's really interesting. And you can go onto a live map at any time. It's purpleair.com. And you can look at all of the purple air monitors in our region. Just note that they're not all maintained by us.
You said that there's 40 more monitors to go out in the
Yes.
world. Can you give us some insight on where those will be placed?
Yes. So we have done a zip code level sort of triaging to see where it might make sense, especially as we look at disparities. But then we've worked with a consultant that we are now bringing on board to really help us with those siting to make sure that we get the breadth and width of the county. So some will be in libraries, some will be in schools, some will be on businesses, CODA stations. So yeah, we're really excited.
That's awesome.
If you do go to the map, all the ones that are labeled MORPC are the ones that we have calibrated.
Well, Jenny, I have to ask because I think the more people that I talk to, the more younger people I talk to, it seems like while there's an excitement around the area of sustainability, there is this almost like tinge of hopelessness where, it's this feeling of like, I'm only one person and there's so much bad that's happening that how can my little bit of good truly outweigh that? What would you say to someone who had that feeling?
I think I can definitely see where that's coming from. Like it's kind of everywhere right now, that feeling. But I think that two things, one, if everybody is one person and every one person is doing it, that really does add up, especially as we're looking at composting or recycling or even just like making those decisions for you with your car, taking the bike. Those all really add up. And what we do as an individual really does change both policy, but then also the market economy on its own. Like, so if we're not buying these things, if we're not using them, if we're using something else, there's not going to be that much of a demand to produce them. If, let's say, everybody stopped all of a sudden buying bagged salad and instead just bought those loose leaf lettuces, then there's going to be like a lot less demand for that. And then they're going to stop producing it as much. So I think that there's that way to kind of vote and also change policy with your wallet and your things that you do. And there's just a lot of ways to really make those small impacts and make your voices heard. But then again, at Public Health, we do a lot with policy. And while we can't make them, we have a lot of policy recommendations, and a lot of our jurisdictions can't enact some of those policies. We're thinking about like those plastic bag bans, curbside composting. So a lot of things like that. But I think that the biggest thing we can do is support policies that really ensure that corporations are responsible.
Another thing we wanted to talk about, if you're familiar, are you familiar with the TV show from many years ago called Captain Planet?
I'm hurt that you think it is many years ago because it was yesterday.
Oh, it
to me.
was.
I watched it all the time, and I am not that old. I watched it on Saturday mornings.
Well, regardless of how many years ago
many years
it was.
ago.
Counterpoint to your age. No, I'm just kidding.
Captain Planet, who is our hero? Yes.
Yes. Zach and I were reminiscing about even though it was just yesterday
Just
that we
yesterday,
watched it.
yeah.
We watched an episode together yesterday, but also when it came out a while back, and just the impression it left on us. Do you have any fond memories of Captain Planet?
I have many fond memories of Captain Planet. I didn't have cable as a kid, so I had a lot of like the PBS shows, and Captain Planet was the one who was like, you can do it. Like, it's all kids can do it. And I think I really liked and related to, like, it's very, even the villains in that, if you remember, they weren't super terrible. It wasn't like anything that we had to have a superhero really help. It was just like, let's not throw your radioactive waste in the river, or let's clean up together.
Simple stuff.
Simple stuff. And like, it was like, okay, we can do this. We can all get together and do this. And it was just like really cool that everybody had their own little talent, and I liked it. Yeah. I'm just singing the song in the theme song in my head now. I'm trying to.
It's a great theme song.
Can we insert the theme song, or is that copyright?
I feel like it's got to be copyright.
Can't we do
an
30 seconds?
Instrumental of it?
We can all do an a cappella version right
He's
now.
our hero.
I don't know the show or the
Going to-
song.
I was like already starting
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Gonna take pollution
Another-
Down to zero. Yeah.
Oh,
Another point of contention was that Angela has never heard of or seen Captain Planet.
all I can do is apologize, but I cannot go back and rewrite the past. So
It's true.
But I did like that, like Captain, not liked, but like he would get hurt when you would pollute the planet, and then his team would like help bring him back by cleaning the water or cleaning the air.
oh, that's
And
cool.
we can all do that.
And listen, in defense of Angela, I'm just like I'm proud as your friend sitting here that just you're so readily willing to admit that you're not cultured, and you're brave. It takes bravery to admit that you're not cultured here in front of your co-host, our guests, and the world, really.
Okay.
Shots have been fired.
Wow, this is aggressive.
I know. I felt a little attacked
You
there.
can come over. We'll watch it.
Jennie McAdams, thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, you're
we enjoyed
welcome.
having you. Thank you for listening to the Health is Real podcast from Franklin County Public Health. We want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts at fcph@franklincountyohio.gov, and be sure to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. And did you know that we offer vaccine clinics and education throughout Franklin County for both children and adults? Talk to a public health nurse to ask questions or schedule your vaccine appointment by calling us at 614-525-3719 or email shots@franklincountyohio.gov.